Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome into today's video. Today we're going to take a look at Lululemon stock. This is a stock I should have covered around about 2 weeks ago after the drop of earnings. I never did because it's just been so busy. I told you guys eventually I will get round to it, and today is the video where we get it done. Also, what's really interesting today, don't know if you've seen the pets at home drop as well. That's having a significant drop. Maybe that's one that you'd like me to cover tomorrow. And also, I'm doing a bit of market research on the side here. What I'm doing is I'm actually going to put in the thumbnail, the actual company and the name in the title of the video today. I don't normally do that, but I am today. And the reason why I'm going to do it today is to see the difference between when you actually mention the stock to when you have more of a clickbaity video. Honestly, when you actually put the company's name in the title and the thumbnail, I tell you, like, the views are normally like half of what you normally get, maybe even a third. So I'm going to try and put the actual company's name into today's video, and if the views are about a third of what they normally are, I will actually go back to not putting the company's name in the title, because obviously that's a massive drop off. And tomorrow I'll actually update you with the results of that as well, just to kind of keep them in the loop about if there is a big drop off when this happens. Anyway, let's get on today's video. So Lululemon, yeah, you can see here that was the drop on the 4th of September off earnings, dropped around 20%. But when you actually zoom out, I mean, that drop looks not even that significant when you look at the stock chart for the year, down 56% year to date. So is there an opportunity in Lululemon today where the stock has been sold off so much? We're going to talk about that. Now, I think one reason why maybe I got so many questions on Lululemon and if it's a buy is because I did used to own the stock. I originally bought when it had a massive dip in 2024. The stock fell about 50%, but it did go on to rise a significant amount, and I ended up selling my position out for something like a 60-70% return, and was a pretty decent performer for us in 2024. I believe I sold my position, and then since then the recovery has given up, and we've fallen now another 60% since that time frame. So a few people have been going, you bought it once, would this be something you are interested in buying back into Lululemon? And I'll give you the answer straight away. It's not. I'm not going to be buying back into Lululemon, and today I'm going to give you the reasons why I would not be buying back into it this time. Now, obviously, Lululemon is a company that a lot of people obviously know about. I'm sure you know Lululemon. They are mostly known for their activewear, especially women's activewear. Probably well known for their leggings, I would say, in particular, the gym leggings for Lululemon. And that's probably actually one of the first issues that I see when I actually go on the website nowadays. I'm looking and thinking, would you expect this to be a Lululemon website? Like, you look at that website there and I'm thinking, this isn't Lululemon. It looks like some sort of River Island, website here. Like, what are these products on here? Like, there's a bloke in a t-shirt that, I mean, if that's fashion, I'm a little bit worried. You look at what the women are wearing. This doesn't look like Lululemon, where you're supposed to be in these comfy gym clothes, but also suit your figure a little bit. You know what I mean? You look at that here, they got baggy trousers on. It looks like you're about to go down to the local bar for a night out or something. Like, this does not look like Lululemon. It just doesn't look like what you see Lululemon being. And that's maybe the first issue with Lululemon, is they seem to be so far away from what they're supposed to be known at, So that's obviously one of the main issues I clocked when I was actually preparing the video already. They seem to be going quite far away from where they used to be. When you look at the recent earnings, there was beat on EPS, but revenue growth was a miss of about 40 million, which I guess isn't significant amounts, on 2.5 billion. 6% revenue growth, which obviously is far off what they used to do. And obviously the big thing as well is it's an outlook cut. And the issue at the moment is you have I don't know how many outlook cuts Lululemon have done recently, but I know it's a significant amount. I would say like a good of the last 3 earnings have had outlook cuts, which is not a trend that you want to be getting into. When you're doing those amount of significant outlooks, it means that you're losing probably a decent grip of the financials at the moment. The other issue that I have is when you look at international revenue growth. International revenue growth, you look at that and you go 22%. Oh, that's really good. They're growing really well internationally. And I've seen a lot of case, when on this drop of Lululemon, people go, oh, it's going to be a good international company at the moment. And that is, their growth looks good, but it's only good if you realise, if you don't do the research and look what they used to do. A year ago, this international business that they were growing at, especially in China, was like 40+% revenue growth. So the revenue growth has slowed down by half. Now that's not good, because as we say before on the YouTube channel, you don't want to see a trend building. And the trend you have with Lululemon building is that international growth is slowing down. And when that's supposed to be one of your key drivers and it's slowing down, that's not a good place to be in. And that's a major concern, especially when it's dropping that much. So that's one thing that really puts me off, because previously when I owned Lululemon, that was staying pretty strong at like 40% revenue growth. Half now. It's not looking good for Lululemon. And I had a look at also the earnings, and you look here, the gross profit was up 5%. So that's slower than revenue growth. But also, when you look at the gross margins, it decreased by 110 basis points. And if you look at income from operations, it decreased 3 basis points. So when you look at the diluted earnings per share, it was actually $3.10 compared to $3.15. So at the moment, when you look at the headline growth, okay, 6% isn't too bad. Maybe not great when you look at what they're growing at. But the other issue you have with someone like Lululemon at the moment is the profit is actually not growing. So all this growth at the moment is just supporting you to maintain at your current profit levels. You never want to be in a position where you are buying a stock and they are growing, but they're only growing to maintain the previous profit levels. And in fact, they're actually going down slightly. And as well as that, they're also doing a pretty big share buyback at the moment. So if you want for that share buyback, it'd probably look a little bit worse as well. And that's probably a good thing to mention about Lululemon, is they do have a good balance sheet. They are doing share buybacks, which is great. But that's just a major issue. And that's, never a position where you want to get in, where your trailing PE is 11 times earnings, but your forward PE is 12 times earnings. You're growing, but your profit's dropping. That's, not a great position to be in. And you're looking at a situation and you're thinking, well, what's kind of going on here? What's going so wrong for Lululemon? Well, you look at the moment and one of their targets is to grow global growth. At the moment, that's slowing down massively. And they're targeting men. That was one of the big areas they were targeting. And clearly, you look at it and it's not been successful for them. And when we go back to the website here, it's not what Lululemon really is. And that's a big issue when you're getting away from what your core principles were, which were kind of this, mainly focus on women and, the leggings and everything like that, the gym clothes. It just looks, it's getting away from your core business. And when you're getting away from your core business and you're not having success, that's a big issue. And in general, when you look at these profits going down, I asked, Gemini, why are these profits going down so much? And obviously they have a bit of tariff impact going at the moment. The volume, competition, if you've got big competition, you're going to have to sell your products of less of a premium. And Lululemon was certainly a premium previously. And just generally when you look at popularity, when you look at teens are like the leading trend or driver of trends in clothing. And whatever teens are wearing is normally what filters up the other generations. And, at the moment, Lululemon is losing its appeal. And why is that? We don't know. Have they just got away from the core business? Have the products not been as good? Has it put people off with the focus on, maybe men's growth? We don't know what exactly is, but it's clear when you look at like the teen survey recently from Piper Sandler, for example. Lululemon is now ranked 3. It's been taken over and is shedding 4 points of share year over year, which is a significant drop. And it's clear that Lululemon is losing market share, and that's why when you look at the stock, its revenue is slowing down. The international growth is slowing down, the profitability is slowing down. It's just not great. It's just not great from Lululemon. And you do look at the business, and the business is still pretty highly profitable. The balance sheet is still very decent, which is great. But the fashion space is such a cutthroat industry. You can go from being top dog to way out of fashion within a 12-month time period, which is the major issue, and what always makes me nervous in investing into a space like this. Really makes me nervous when you buy it, because trends can change so fast. And if I ever buy something in this space, I'm normally in a point where I'm like holding it relatively shorter term from what I normally do. Like I'm talking 12, 24 months. And with Lululemon at the moment, would I be willing to buy? And the answer is no. The big difference from where I previously owned Lululemon is that the revenue growth was still growing high single digit. And the revenue trend was actually still maintaining. In fact, it had a little bit of a tick up. Now the problem is that the trend is just going down. The outlook trend is downgrading nearly every quarter. The international growth is nearly half of what it used to be. you look at the market share, the team market share is starting to be lost. That's a major issue. You know, you look at the website. You know, the website is just, I just can't believe the website. You know, when you look at Lululemon, this is what you imagine when you put Lululemon in. You know, the Lululemon, when you put Lululemon in, the top items, which are probably the best selling items, that's what you imagine Lululemon to be. Not when you go on here and it looks like some sort of, I don't know, River Island shop or something. So they just seem to be losing the way a little bit. And don't get me wrong, if I see the trend going up in the right direction, they seem to be making the right adjustments, they seem to get the market share back, the growth starts coming back, I'm interested because it's a highly profitable company, great balance sheet, you know, the valuation looks good, but at the moment the trend is not going well for Lululemon, and that puts me off majorly. So yeah, right now Lululemon is one that I am not buying. I've got it on a watch list, and if things improve or I see signs of improving, I will be willing to buy the stock, but for now, the trend is not looking good in my opinion, and it's one that I'm currently avoiding with Lululemon. So, hope you enjoyed the video anyway on Lululemon, guys, and maybe I do a pets at home video tomorrow. Let me know. Apart from that, see you in a bit.